Hey guys, just wanted to open up this video with a quick apology. I've edited this thing and uploaded it twice. I keep realizing mistakes I made, and I realized the biggest one. I'm gonna fix the text up in the corner, but this entire video, okay, the iPhone shots were shot in 4K 24 frames per second. The camera shots, I had forgotten I changed my resolution to 1080p 24 frames per second the night before to do some streaming stuff. So the camera shots are in fact not in 4K. They still look great, which should speak to the power of this camera. So the iPhone shots are going to be downscaled to 1080p. The camera shots are naturally 1080p. This is actually going to be a 4K downscaled to 1080p. So sorry about that confusion. If this video takes off, if anyone wants to see it, or I can film another one, go check out my content. It's all mostly in 4K from this camera.
Alright guys, you might be watching this thinking, I'm a food vlogger, car review, mukbang, something or another. I want to up my game. That Poppy Eats has some decent looking videos. What does he use? You might be wondering, I want to start a food channel. What should I be buying? There's a lot of ways to go about this. I had a request this morning. Poppy, what do you use? Why do your videos look so good? I'd like to up mine. I want to go to the next level. Just got a curiosity, what do you use? So I want to show you guys everything I do, everything I use, the best I can in one video. Right now, you are looking at me from my iPhone 12. You're looking from the rear-facing camera in 4K at 24 frames per second. So that's what this is right now. But I'm going to show you my normal setup. And I'm going to tell you why I use different things. You can get this done on your phone entirely. This looks decent, right? I can't promise what the lighting's like. I'm in my favorite Taco Bell parking lot and the sun is down in a weird angle. I haven't even looked. I'm assuming it's good. And that's one of the downsides to using your rear-facing camera. You can't see what's going on. I have no idea what I look like. I could have this pointed somewhere weird. But once you get used to it, film some test clips, you get used to what things look like. So I can't show you, I can't see what I'm holding up, but I know this is the best camera on my phone, not the front-facing one. This one zooms better when I hold things up, right? We're gonna get some Taco Bell to show you that, but that's what this is. So here's my normal setup. And first you can see I got this little nice Amazon case. I think it was like $10 or $20. Nothing crazy, because I wanted something mobile I can lug around. I can grip it through my fingers here, you know, it's not bad. And I've got links in the description to everything that I'm using here today, whether it's through my Amazon affiliate links or through the company's direct website, which I have to do for some of these because you can't get them on Amazon. This is the camera I normally use. This is the Sony ZV-1. And the idea behind this is they took some of the tech from their more popular, bigger cameras before this, and they made it even lighter. Like, this is a super lightweight camera. It's meant for vloggers, and there's tons of videos of this on YouTube, but I don't think anyone else in the food community has a video on this, and I don't even have all the tips for you, but I'm going to tell you what I do. And I know this has spread to some other food people on YouTube. I've influenced a few of my buddies to actually get this, and their videos look great too. So Sony ZV-1, plastic body, still nice camera. And the big reason I got this, I started filming with my front-facing iPhone 11 camera when I started this channel. And you'd hold food up to it, but that wouldn't zoom in. It wouldn't focus, right? I use the rear camera, but I don't know what's going on. And I was fresh to this. I needed that screen. So the cool thing about this camera is the screen pops open and flips around. So you can see what you're doing on it. It's really cool. And I'll put this up here and show you my setup. And oops, I just triggered a spot focus. And that's part of the thing too. There's a ton of different ways to focus on this. This camera in particular, they designed by default, and you can turn this off obviously. You can tweak everything on this. But by default, it focuses on your eyes. That can be a blessing and a curse. For these car reviews, it's been pretty good, and I've learned how to get it to focus on the food when I need it to. If I'm holding it up to the camera, and I'll show you this, you just cover your eyes, and it goes to the next thing. But there's also product showcase modes where it will see the closest thing to the camera, it will instantly focus on that. It's got so many focus modes. And for different people shooting different styles of video, you need to tweak that a bit. I've got a buddy, she bought this to do mukbangs at her like kitchen table and stuff. But sometimes it focuses just in on the food up front and not on her, and she needs a more wide focus. I haven't had the time to really figure that one out. She hasn't had the time. But I guess my point is, this has you covered. Aside from that awesome screen, up top, here's what we've got going on, right? I just use the built-in microphone on this. Everything you hear from most of my videos, if I've linked this in the description, or if you can tell I'm filming on this, and again, I'll film on this in a second so you can hear, it's all with the built-in microphone. It sounds great. It's not perfect. Speaking of the built-in microphones, right now you can probably hear a pretty decent air conditioning blast, right? A lot of food mukbangers, car people, whatever, they'll turn down their AC to not inundate you with AC sound. I've left it on as an example. I think it picks up more on the iPhone. You probably hear it pretty well. You're gonna see, I'm not gonna change the AC at all. I'm gonna try to leave it at the same setting. You're gonna hear how it sounds with this microphone. Cool thing though, if you don't wanna use this, there's other options. You can plug in an external microphone. You could run that down here, and I think I've tried that, but it's a pain. And the built-in one is so good, I don't bother with it. But I have tested out, and I've had other people help me experiment with like directional microphones. Cool thing about this camera is it's got this little, what do you call it, cold shoe? See, I'm new to this. I don't even know, guys. You slide this thing off. You can slip in any number of different accessories meant for cameras that fit into one of these traditional style cold shoe setups. So there's microphones you can plop on there that'll point right at you, and I don't know that I have the room in the car to actually make that work with my windshield, the way I've got this mounted. That's why I don't do that. But you can do it. Really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. So that's my camera. This shoots in a bunch of different modes. There's a reason I got this in particular, and that's because it shoots 4K. You don't need high quality video to do this on YouTube. Some of the best, biggest channels have awful looking videos. Because remember, at the end of the day, the polish helps. It'll draw some people in, it'll keep some people around, it'll give you an edge. But it's about you, it's YouTube. Your personality, your everything drives the videos. Whatever your niche is, whatever the content is, if it's good, people will watch regardless of how good the video looks. But if your video looks really bad, that might steer people away too. I've seen some videos where I've clicked and said, this looks awful. I don't want to spend 15 minutes watching this blurry mess, you know? Somewhere in between is where you need to be. I shoot in 4K, 24 frames per second. That is the max resolution and frames per second that this camera can do. Now, cool thing about this that some other cameras forbid you from doing, from what I've seen from other YouTubers here, you can film as long as you want, as long as you can with this camera. When I say that, I mean, if you plug this into power and you're using the right power cord, because this thing's fickle, I'll link this in my description, the cord I use that lets me live stream with this nonstop without the battery dying. I got it off eBay, but I'll link you the details down there if you're looking into that. You're only limited by the storage size of your memory card, and I'm not sure if there's a limit on what you can stick in here. You're limited by that, and you're limited by if the camera, well, you're limited by your battery, but like I said, you can plug in, and you're limited by if the camera overheats. Fun fact on that, I don't know if this iPhone's getting hot I'm filming with here. Might take a break here in a second. In 4K, I filmed the Witch video yesterday. You can see that on, I don't know where I'm posting this, it's on my Poppy Eats channel, link above to the video I'm talking about. That was filmed on this camera in 4K, 24 frames per second. mounted to my window with the sun beating down on it. 4K makes the camera get much hotter than filming in 1080p. Combined with the sun and the summer heat here in South Carolina, I've seen this thing start to go into overheat shutdown mode anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes. I think I got 18 out of it yesterday. It was on the verge of shutting down. The screen dims. That's how you know it's about to go. There's an icon that shows it, but you can't see that, but you can notice that the screen has dimmed on you. So you can get in the hot sun in a car about, I want to say 15 minutes in 4K. I filmed much longer when the sun's not beating down. If it's a nice cool day in the winter, those limits start to get pushed off. Or filming at home, I've gone much longer because the sensor gets hot, but as long as it's cold in there, it's not the end of the world. Now you can click this down to 1080p, and some of my videos, this one won't be. This one's gonna be in 4K, I'll show you, because I'm filming in 4K now. But some of them, if I know I'm going for a long time, I go down to 1080p. I do 24 frames per second because I want a more film-like look, right? The opposite of that, which this is capable of, would be doing in 60 frames per second, where it's a more lifelike, you see all the motion going on. And a lot of people like to film that way. That's an option on here too. I think you can kick it up to like 120 or 200 frames per second. You can do slow-mo stuff. There's a lot of options with this camera. It's really cool. I really love it. I'm gonna pop this on and show you exactly what we're dealing with there. So, just a moment. All right, so again, the AC is still blowing, but now I'm using the front-facing camera in 4K. Still pretty good looking, but these phones are so long, it's a pain, right? The camera is down here. So if I'm looking at the screen, I'm never looking at the camera, and it's distracting. You're not getting a great video out of that. But if you train yourself to know exactly where the camera is and you're focused in over here, it's doable. And I could position this elsewhere, but I just don't do this. But I'll show you. I'm about to show you footage from this. I also have this little remote for this camera, right? And it doubles as a tripod. Folds out, right? Kind of neat. You can arrange this, flip it, do whatever you need to do with it. You can start and stop and zoom. I like this little thing. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. But this is the front-facing camera of an iPhone 14 Pro in 4K. I don't think I'm not 14. What are we up to? iPhone 12. I told myself iPhone 14 is the next one I'll buy because I like the number 14. iPhone 12 Pro. And I think the front-facing one on this is the same as the 12 and possibly the same as the 11 and 11 Pro. The rear-facing stuff is where it gets different. So, let's take a look at some video from this. Alright, so I don't usually film from this angle with this camera in my car, but this is the camera. Again, 4K, 24 frames per second. Now here's my mount setup, and I'll show you how I mount the phone. Let's just shut off the screen here. This is, I forgot who makes this. There's a bunch of different rebranded versions of this on Amazon. They're all the same thing is what I've gathered. So if you can find one for the lowest price, that's the way to do it. I'll link something in the description here. I link it in all my videos. So I really love this mount. Now, it's got a traditional camera mount. And right now I have, because the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro have MagSafe, I've got this magnetic mount from Turing. And yeah, pretty cool. You saw that, right? I just stick it right on there. And it sticks perfectly. I can drive around with that, it doesn't move. I don't use a case, but if you use like a leather or silicone case on that has MagSafe, it's even more secure than just the naked phone. But this is cool, and it screws right on. Difference being, when I film with my phone, I use the rear. So I pop it on like that, and I've gathered I have to look at that little camera to the top right if I really want to be focused and doing the right thing. But that's my point. This looks great, this setup here, but I don't, I can't see what I'm doing. And that's why I like using the camera. But yeah, cool thing about this little mount, it suctions on. I've been using this for almost a year now. It hasn't lost its strength or anything. It's working really well.
All I do, you can adjust everything on this. So I turn it when I want to use that camera or the phone mount. And then I tighten it back up and I put the camera up here when I'm filming with the camera. So I'm gonna show you quick what that looks like. All right, so that's my camera setup, right? See, I have it so that it points up, and this camera, you can go upside down. It does orientation, so if I wanted to do it lower, I could. But popping it up right there in my car, I don't know if this will actually show you. It's not a bad look, and I'm gonna film from the camera for the rest of this video, but that is the Poppy Eats car setup. It's worked well for me, but you can see how the sun is gonna beat down on that. But this has worked very, very well. All right, so you can see I'm driving on this thing. I don't think there's really a lot of bumpiness or anything. It's pretty stable. Now I usually have the camera mounted over a little bit, so if you're actually used to watching my channel, then you might notice that if you're really eagle-eyed. So we're gonna go back to where we were here. Okay, I was pulled in right about here. And the camera's got different exposure settings. No way. Hold on, I got a phone call coming in. Yeah, I got a phone call there from the cosmetics company store. I also do a fragrance and skincare channel. So I'm always looking for deals on new stuff. And they actually got new stuff in. I already had it, but I was excited. Anyways, this thing's got different exposure settings. I can let more light in, less light. It's pretty good on its own at figuring out what's what. And that's good, because I don't have all the time in the day to play with this, but I could. That's the thing. That's the thing. So I got my Taco Bell. And you can see, it's focused in on me. Everything's clear, right? I can hold this up. Let me show you. I can hold it up here, but now it's focusing on this, all right? Let's get some food. I might be able to give you a better example. Sometimes it'll still focus on my eyes when I hold something up. So I've got some Taco Bell here, my absolute favorite. That's how the channel started. Filmed on an iPhone 11 Pro, front-facing camera, driving through this Taco Bell's drive-thru. Let me show you my favorite item here, the Cheese Gordita Crunch. Nope, that's a burrito. Let me show you this burrito. So you hold it up, instantly it zooms in. Now, if I appear again, there's enough glare I can't even tell what I'm showing you. It might be focusing in on me still. This might be blurry. Let me take a bite. Pretty clear zoom. Pretty poorly made burrito. That's all tortilla. But point being, this thing does the job. And I'm going to show you some of the accessories here in a minute. But you know, I can take my stupid selfie thumbnails. Easy. Looks great. And here's the thing. There's better cameras. Absolutely. You can get better DSLR cameras. But I'm in the car. It needs to fit this setup. It needs to be lightweight. I need to be able to transport it. This camera does the job. But like you saw, the phone camera looked great. You can get away with that if you use the rear camera. The person that suggested that asked me what I was using, I don't know if he had been watching other videos of mine, but the video that wowed him was the rear camera on the iPhone 11 Pro. So that's a great camera in and of itself there. You don't need the extra stuff. This just makes it easier. And I do think with this bigger lens, I do think this looks a bit clearer, a bit nicer. This is that little touring mount I talked about. There might be cheaper ones out there now. For some reason, it took forever to get this magnetic stuff to market. It's finally here. There's probably more. This little thing's like 30 bucks or so, but it's so convenient. So convenient. And then let me just show you quick in this case. I love it because
You can put in extra memory cards in this little slot, and I haven't needed that because I load all my stuff onto my computer. The memory card's basically opened up after I'm done. It's all freed up. And I carry an extra battery with me. And I buy some third-party batteries. I'll link that in the description, tell you a little bit about those, show you my charger for them. But I can just swap one of these guys in, keep the video going. I've had to do that every once in a while, especially if I forget to charge and I'm running off a half-used battery. Really comes in handy. And you can get 2 of these aftermarket ones, or 3 maybe now at this point, for the price of 1 of the authentic ones. And there is a noticeable difference, a little bit, but not enough that I'd pay full price for an official one. So let me take you back to where I then record what I do there, what the next steps of the Poppy Eats filming process are.
Alright guys, I filmed this after I edited, exported everything. I'm clipping this, putting this in the middle of my video here. Did you notice how really well the camera has been doing at focusing in right on the food and not looking at my eyes like I kept saying it would? I went to film another video and I was going through the menus here, and I noticed, and this plays into one of my beefs with this camera, it was in product focus mode for this entire video. For several videos. I don't know how long that's been on. Clearly I've gotten okay with using it, but it's been on for some time. If you've turned off all the little icons, there's no indication that it's on, and it's one of the few settings that persists. It doesn't go away when you turn off the camera or start a new video or anything like that. So I didn't know product focus mode was on, but it gives you a slightly wider field of view, which makes sense because right now you can see I'm closer just sitting there. Watch, I'll turn it on. See how much further away I am now? That's the difference when you put on product focus mode. With product focus mode, anything that it detects being closer, it's not focusing on my eyes anymore. It's focusing on the phone. As opposed to, let's switch back. Closer up. Phone's up, it's still looking at my eyes. Phone's up here, it sees an eye. It's not focusing on the phone. Close my eye, cover my eyes up, it goes to the phone. But as soon as it starts picking up on my eyes, it focuses on that. Which, like I said, once you're trained to get around that, that's actually very helpful because for my food videos, I want my face to be the focus. So, interesting thing, that was on for this entire video. Alright, so a few more things I use. I got it mounted on that little tripod thing I showed you before, but something inexpensive you can get over even like Target, Amazon, whatever. You might have seen these Joby. There's the Joby pads. They have all sorts of different sizes of these. This is the smallest one. It comes with a little holder for the phone too, so you can do that. The cool thing is, these little feet, they bend. You can have this at whatever height, angle, whatever you want. You can bend them to grip onto something to hold it. I filmed cooking videos having my camera hanging from my microwave door above my stove. That was kind of cool. So this is a great little stand. Cool thing I really like about the Sony one I showed you though is it's easy for me to switch over to different facing. So I'm looking at the camera right now, right? I want to make it go the other way. There's a little button I push and I have free rotation to go the other way, and then I can flip the screen around so I can see what I'm actually looking at. So now that we've done that and locked back in, sorry for the dust. I wasn't planning on filming this today. This is my little memory card reader. I pop the card out, I stick it right in there. Nice. I use a desktop computer. I don't have a memory card slot. That's that. My battery charger, like I said, I've got a few batteries. I use this guy here from Power Extra. Plugs in with USB, so I've got that on my USB power strip. I can just pop a battery right in, right out. It has a little charging indicator to let you know where it's at. If it's charging, glows up, goes dim when it's done. Perfect. Too easy. Too easy. Other things I have. When I stream from my computer, I usually move my monitor over and I pull this little arm down and I can mount the camera right up here. But this thing bends all over the place. It's clamped on down there. So I get that pointing at me. I rigged that up to the computer because this camera has HDMI. You get this little, what is it, micro HDMI to HDMI. I use a capture card for that. Got my Blue Yeti with its sound dampening thing on the blue arm for that. That works really well. Tons of different customization options for that. For some of the videos I film, and I don't have them active right now, I use these lights from, what is it, HP USN or something. I'll link them, but there's a million different brands on Amazon, and I assume they're all just about the same. But those provide pretty good softbox lighting. Oops, it's not plugged in. But if it were plugged in, I could show you. Yeah, see? Provides a bit of light. It still makes it soft so you can have that pointing at your face and just get a nice glow going on that. Then around the house when I'm filming videos, if you see me standing around, I usually have it on this tripod. This tripod was super cheap. It was on sale at Best Buy online. Super ultra dirt cheap. You can feel it. The quality's not great, but you know what? It gets the job done. I can raise this up pretty high. Each of these legs will actually let me extend it a couple more feet. It's got this little crank here to raise this thing up. Your camera mounts on here. You can pop that off to pre-mount your camera and then just pop your camera on. Works pretty well. Pretty well. A couple other things I've got here. I do have a lapel mic. I haven't used it much. You really got to get the audio dialed in just right because it really picks up on your voice when you've got it clipped down here. Again, I think this camera microphone, for what I'm doing, sounds fantastic. I could absolutely get a better one, clip it on there, use this more. This was kind of a pain because I had to use an adapter so it really sticks out of the camera. Kind of a pain. But I got that link down in the description. This was the best bang for the buck, but also well-reviewed lapel mic on Amazon. You need a memory card. The thing doesn't have built-in memory. This is the one Sony recommends that comes with their kit that I haven't actually opened yet. Big thing about it, it's an SD card. It's class, I don't even remember how the classes work. It's SDXC V30, I think it's a class 10.3. See, I don't even know. Whatever this is key. You want this. That'll let you film without issue in 4K. You don't have to worry about your camera not being able to keep up, or your card not being able to keep up with your camera, any of that jazz. So get the fastest speed you can that the camera supports. This is what you want. This is it. I have one that's like a slight tiny level below in my camera. I've never really run into issues. I've had a couple times where the camera has had issues writing and said it had to cut the video entirely. I don't know if that's because of the camera or because of the memory card or what, but this is what you're supposed to get. It doesn't have to be Sony brand, but it's got to be that speed I showed you. That's what you want. They sell screen protectors. I don't use one. I bought them. I decided I don't need them. I'm careful enough with it, but it's an option. I'll link to those as well. Again, the Joby Pod. Got my case. It's a great little setup. I love using this stuff. It makes making videos so much easier. They look great. I'm a big fan. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, let me know in the comments. I try to respond to everything when it makes sense to. Again, links in the description to everything I used here today. Helps me out if you use those to get the products if you end up getting them. But I understand if you don't. Again, any questions, let me know. I really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more like this. I actually have a tech channel I was going to post this on called Poppy Tech. This is the perfect kind of video for it. But I think it'll reach a better audience if I put it on Poppy Eats, which is what you're watching this on. So, link to Poppy Tech if you want more videos like this. I can do more like this. I just haven't been. I've been so busy. Right now the lighting's weird because I got that softbox just still turned on. There, turn that off, much better. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. You take care.